Welcome to the family here on Purple Mafia. I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Purple Mafia is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps. I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to the show. I don't know. It's nice to be here, I guess. I don't know. I am this close to stepping away forever. I can't. I am so done with this nonsense. But, yeah, it's I don't know. I can't watch these jackasses anymore. I don't know. So that's just the way it is. I mean, you probably saw my Twitter. If you saw my Twitter account past 3 hours, yeah, I don't know. It's so frustrating to see the same stupid team win every stinking year. And the chances, I don't know. I mean, Philadelphia, they look pretty dang impressive. So that's the hope that maybe Philadelphia will get the job done. But other news in the NFL really quick, might as well, was it the, I don't know if I talked about this on the last episode. A lot of stuff happened this week. So the Bears hired Ben Johnson, the former Detroit Lions offensive coordinator. They have now also hired Dennis Allen, the former Saints and I guess Raiders. I don't remember him as the Raiders head coach. I guess he was for a little while. Very short time, if I remember correctly. Head coach and defensive coordinator under Sean Payton with the Saints. He is now going to be the defensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears, Dennis Allen. So that's actually probably a pretty good hire. So, I mean, you definitely want to go that direction when you're going on the, say, like you're an offensive-minded coach. You want to get a really good defensive coordinator, which is basically what the Vikings did, right? Not the first year. The first year, I don't know what they were thinking. But, yeah. So, apparently, Clint Kubiak, offensive coordinator for the Saints. So, both of the, multiple Saints coaches here, ex-Saints coaches. Clint Kubiak, offensive coordinator. It's okay. Oh, that's the Vikings former coach. Yeah, so he was the Saints offensive coordinator. Yeah, he was a former Vikings offensive coordinator for a while, the son of Gary. So he is going to the Seahawks to be their offensive coordinator. Clint Kubiak, congratulations, I suppose, are in order. So that's kind of like NFL news. The Cowboys hired their offensive coordinator basically to take over. Yeah, so that's kind of where things are going. At this stage, let's see, Mike McCarthy has not surfaced yet. The talk is he might wind up with the New Orleans Saints as the head coach. That'd be Mike McCarthy, of course, former Packers and now former Cowboys coach. Cowboys again promoted their offensive coordinator to be the head coach. Otherwise, we have another rematch. So, like last year, we had a rematch of the Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers from the 2019 Super Bowl. It looked like the Niners might have had it in both cases, and the Chiefs pulled away at the last second. Looked like Philadelphia might have had it, and the Chiefs pulled away late. And I don't know, this could happen all over again. Something though, I mean, this Philadelphia team, maybe they're more complete this time. They have the best running back in the world, and they're going to need him to be insane like he was today versus the Washington Commanders in a 55-23 win. Philadelphia Eagles win the NFC. It's the Super Bowl nobody wanted, but it's the Super Bowl we got because that's how the NFL has been the last 4 or 5 years now. It is so frustrating. I mean, I have not enjoyed the postseason the last several years. I mean, there have been some good games, but then in the end, like the ending is just depressing, frustrating, and it makes you pissed off. I didn't want the Rams to beat Cincinnati. That was depressing. In fact, I wanted the Cincinnati Bengals to play against the 49ers, but the Rams pulled away late 3 times in a row and wound up winning the Super Bowl. They were kind of like the Chiefs in a lot of ways. The Bucks had them, and the Bucks blew it. 49ers had them, the 49ers blew it. And the Cincinnati Bengals had them, and the Bengals blew it. And then that's kind of how it's been with Kansas City the last the last few years, as the Chiefs now have an opportunity to three-peat, which is something no NFL team has ever done before. And they are pretty much the last football team I want to see do it. Like, imagine seeing Tom Brady do it. I wouldn't have been mad at all. It would have been kind of fun. So some of you probably wouldn't have liked it. I don't know. I mean, the Chiefs annoy me more than the Green Bay Packers. If you didn't notice, it's too much. They're too much, and I don't know. And I know most of America, a lot of Minnesota fans still are bitter at the Philadelphia Eagles. Nobody's still there from 2017. Not even the coach. The coach just got fired from Jacksonville. Like, who cares? So why you're still bitter at the Eagles, I don't know, other than, of course, the fan base is a bunch of jerks, yes. But here's the thing. Breaking news, if you didn't notice. Kansas City fans are a bunch of jerks, too. So you can kind of lump those two teams together. Both fan bases suck. So if you're sick of the Chiefs and not as sick of the Eagles, cheer for the Eagles. Fly, Eagle, fly. So I'm going to be an Eagles fan again for 2 weeks, just like I was 2 years ago when I developed a soft spot for the Philadelphia Eagles. Fly, Eagle, fly, and I will spell the name correctly, unlike their mayor, because, yeah, who knows? The mayor just was too excited or something. Eagles. Eagles. Fly, Eagle, fly. That's all I got to say about that. And you feel for Jake, did I call him Jake? Josh Allen? Jake Allen's a former goaltender for the St. Louis Blues, and I don't know if he's still with Montreal. No, he's with the New Jersey Devils. He's an NHL goaltender, Jake Allen, and part of an extremely frustrating series where the Wild lost to the St. Louis Blues years ago. In 2017, after a great season, everything went down the crapper. Sounds familiar, kind of like the Vikings losing to the LA Rams this year, 27-9. Then you had that epic battle last week, very snowy. It started off with sneet and then sleet, like sneet. Well, no, sleet and then sneet. Sneet is where it's more snow than sleet, but it's still sleet a bit, and then flat out snowflakes. And it was a pretty epic game. And Saquon Barkley exploded to the end zone. Well, they're going to need Saquon Barkley to explode to the end zone several times against this frickin' Steve Spagnuolo defense. Like, the minute I saw Steve Spagnuolo wind up with the Chiefs, I was like, oh, no, please, God, no, not that. Because that might have been the one weakness the Chiefs had, was the defense. And then they get Steve Spagnuolo, who helped the Giants beat the undefeated Patriots in the Super Bowl. I have a lot of respect for Steve Spagnuolo. I just don't like the colors he's wearing. I don't like the logo, and I can't stand the players on that team. Top to bottom, I cannot stand that team. I mean, the only player I liked for the last several years was Jerick McKinnon, former Viking, and it's not like he was out there showboating every time he did anything. So that's kind of the Chiefs' way. They showboat every single time they do anything. I mean, an incomplete pass, whatever it is. They got to flag their way. They got to overdo it, and the fan base is 1,000% the same. Eagles fans are mean. They curse at you. They call you names. They insult you. They insult and drop F-bombs on 100-year-old women. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. They boo Santa Claus, even though he's a fictional character. Okay, there was a real Santa Claus, St. Nicholas, but that was 200 years ago. And he didn't wear a red suit, and he didn't fly, and he didn't have flying reindeer either. He was just a philanthropist, whatever the word is. He was very generous. He was generous. Yeah, that's basically what he was. I'm just not in the mood right now. He was a nice guy. That's all. Dr. Robotnik coaches the Kansas City Chiefs. If you know who Sonic the Hedgehog is, and you know the games, and you know the villain in those games, yeah, Andy Reid, it looks exactly like Dr. Robotnik. So hopefully Philadelphia can get some revenge here. I mean, I can't imagine how hungry they truly are. And again, they have the best running back in the world, maybe the MVP of the league. And we'll have to wait and see how that all turns out. So the NFC Championship game, it looked like it was going to be something for a little while, and then it just kind of wasn't. I mean, look at the final score. It got pretty bloated as the game progressed. It was ugly, like the fourth quarter, 21-0. I mean, that'll do it. It was a fairly decent football game until that fourth quarter, for the most part. I mean, Washington scored their touchdown. They were down 34-15, which was not good at all, midway through the third. But then when Jaden Daniels was able to kind of, he was able to time his run. He was able to kind of hesitate just enough to get the defenders to miss and over commit. And then he was able to take off and kind of make a little move and squiggly into the end zone. They badly needed, and it's like you figure, okay, now you're within 11. You still have a chance. There's 5 minutes left in the third. There's plenty of time left to do something. It's about 20 minutes of gameplay remaining. And, you get a stop here. Who knows? But the stops just didn't come. That's the problem. The stops just didn't come. Or when they did get the stops, they didn't do jack. I guess they did get the stop, if I remember correctly. And then it was like a 3-and-out. It was just garbage. And it wasn't because Jaden Daniels was disappointing. It's because just the Eagles' defense was pretty aggressive. And they're going to have to do a damn good job next week. Because enough is enough. Or 2 weeks from now, excuse me. Next week is the Pro Bowl games, I guess they call them now. It's kind of a skills competition. It's not what it used to be. I actually wouldn't mind it just leaving it alone. Just, first of all, keep it in Hawaii instead of Orlando. Let me, think about it. When players are already kind of I'm just going to sit this out. Yeah, I mean, you're guaranteed players you're going to sit out now if it's Orlando. Like, who gives a bleep about Orlando? I want to go to Hawaii, dang it. I want to go to Hawaii if I'm a Pro Bowler. So put it back in Hawaii and just let it be a regular game again, and so on and so forth. You know, the three quarterbacks and the blah, 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 three running backs or whatever the heck else. You know, guys get their quarter or quarter and a half or whatever it is of snaps, and there it is. And you pray to God nobody gets hurt. That's just kind of how it is. And you don't play as hard, of course not. You're just having fun because it's like an all-star game. But at least make it look like you're playing rather than, you know, like the NBA where they just kind of stand there and shoot the ball and stuff. But one of the highlights of this game was the pretty cool fake punt. I was like, that's an awkward looking throw, but it actually wasn't. It was an accurate throw. It just looked funny. Tress way. So when there's a will, there's a way, I guess. Well, there was a way, a 23-yard gain, which helped the Commanders potentially get things going in the right direction. I think they were only down 7-3 at that point. So it's like, ooh, they got a chance here. And ultimately, it just wasn't meant to be. Zach Ertz was putting the hurts on Jalen Hurts' club for a while there. Yeah, he was with Philadelphia. That's what I thought. And then Arizona, and this is his first year with the Commanders. He is a world, excuse me, world champion Philadelphia Eagle. He was one heck of a player, but he was already kind of, I feel like he aged pretty quickly after that. But that's kind of how things went there. Zach Ertz, yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he was with the Philadelphia Eagles. I remember that was the team that romped all over the Vikings. Case Keenum and co. drive down the field, score on the opening kickoff. Not the opening kickoff, but the opening drive of the game after the kickoff. And everything kind of went down the wrong direction pretty quickly, and it was really frustrating. But, yeah, that's kind of how that went. Last couple of years with Arizona, and even his last few years at Philadelphia, well, 2021 to 2020, yeah, no, Zach Ertz actually has been pretty good. I'm getting it mixed up with someone else, I think. There's another player that, like, aged really quick and was like, what the heck? But Ertz was very strong today. And over the season, 7 touchdowns, 654 in the regular season. But he's had a heck of a postseason career as well. And he was the main cog today. Even though my friend Terry McLaurin did get in the end zone. But unfortunately, out of 7 targets, he was only able to get 3 catches. Because the Philadelphia defense is damn good in this game, I thought. And again, they're going to need to be damn good again. Saquon Barkley averaged about 8 yards a carry. And, yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts actually ran the ball 10 times. He got in the end zone 3 times. Saquon Barkley got in the end zone 3 times. And Jalen Hurts threw a touchdown. So, I mean, it was just absolutely crazy. If you had either of these guys in fantasy, you'd be dancing all night. But you're not going to have fantasy football in the NFC title game, at least I don't think, unless you're in some kind of funky league. It's like a separate thing, like, let's do playoffs, fantasy, I guess. I don't know. But, well, you did pretty good if you had those 2 guys, or at least one of them. Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. No turnovers, no grape stain, nothing. The only fumble loss was Austin Eckler. He lost the ball. I guess Jaden Daniels did throw an interception. It's just that the game got so hazy and it was so frustrating. Yeah, Jaden Daniels did have an interception in the game. But it kind of was what it was. I mean, the Philadelphia defense was outstanding. Jaden Daniels is a rookie. Jalen Hurts was pretty strong in the game. Saquon Barkley again. I mean, they're going to really have to hone in. They're going to have to really hone down and get it done if they're going to beat the Chiefs. Because, I mean, it's just everything seems to go the Chiefs' way. Everything, like close calls. I just don't even want to talk about that game. I just can't. Yeah, because the game just ended, You realize I'm recording like minutes after the game ended. And of course I switched off the presentation. I want no part of that crap. I don't want to hear anything that stupid moron has to say. I think you know who I am or who I'm talking about. I don't want to see his stupid moron girlfriend either. I just want no part of that nonsense. Nothing. Minnesota Wild beat the Blackhawks. This is your Brave the Wild cameo appearance. Brave the Wild host, Joey Owagen. Yes, Paladino Joey. The Minnesota Wild defeated the Blackhawks 4-2. 28 shots on goal. They made a power play, and they gave up one. Yeah. The Blackhawks had 26 hits, and the Wild only had 10. Felt like the Chiefs' defense against the Buffalo offense. And the Eagles' defense against the Washington offense. The Washington Commanders offense is pretty ugly. Man, they were getting knocked around like crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's too bad, but Washington, I think there's going to be something coming there. I think they're going to keep getting better and better. That game was chippy. They were fighting like about 20 times throughout the game. I almost forgot Marshawn Lattimore's on Washington, and he was really going at it with Brown on the New England Patriots, the Philadelphia Eagles. He was going at it like constantly. Marshawn Lattimore, a couple of pass deflections. Obviously, one of the better cornerbacks there is out there. A.J. Brown, who also had a touchdown, 96 yards and 6 catches. I mean, it was like constant. They're both trying to push the helmets off each other in multiple cases. It got pretty personal out there and pretty ugly, and unfortunately, it just went south real badly as the game progressed. I mean, Washington got it down to 11, and then it just was ugly in that fourth quarter. Like, just turn the game off. No one cares anymore. Hope the Chiefs lose. They didn't. Nope, the Chiefs didn't lose. Probably should have, but they didn't. But Buffalo, again, it's just Buffalo in the playoffs. It's what it is. It's Buffalo in the playoffs. Especially against the Chiefs. It's Buffalo in the playoffs. You know, it was so satisfying. Gosh, 4 freaking years ago when the Chiefs lost that AFC title game to the Bengals. One of the most satisfying things I ever saw. I was already sick of the Chiefs in 21. You realize that? It didn't take long. It didn't take long at all. And satisfying as heck when the Buccaneers beat the crap out of them, too. Oh, man, especially with Tom Brady versus Mahomes. Nothing like it. That's the last couple times I was satisfied watching the NFL playoffs, especially that Super Bowl. Now, well, if the Eagles win, that'll be satisfying to a point. It'll be nice. In fact, it'll be satisfying. It'll be doggone satisfying. Chiefs win? I don't know. I might have to step away from football for like 20 years or something, like I did with fantasy football. Just can't. I'm tired of it. But the Eagles definitely, I think they will pose a huge threat. They clearly do look like the best team in the NFC. A lot less mistake prone than Detroit, and you could kind of feel it as the season progressed. That Philadelphia just might be something. They just might. I mean, obviously they have to get it together and hone in their skills into the postseason. They messed around way too long with Green Bay. The Rams are much tougher than the Packers, definitely. Obviously their defense and their offense insanely tough. Battle-tested, Matthew Stafford for so many years. Viking killer, of course. Hurts is a Viking killer, too, if you didn't notice. But the Eagles, yep, I mean, they deserve to be NFC champions. There's no doubt. Detroit couldn't handle Washington. The Washington Commanders just blew them right out of there in their own field, in their own stadium, so to speak. And then they got the doors blown off of them in Philadelphia. So quite similar to Minnesota in a lot of ways, though I think Washington did pose a bigger threat than the 17 Vikings, which is extremely frustrating as a Viking fan to say. But Washington definitely was more threatening than the Vikings were in 17. But then the Eagles just, again, made it ugly in that fourth quarter. AFC Championship game. Yeah, that one. Kansas City 32, Buffalo 29. Yep. I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore. It's just, I don't know. If it's third and 15, Mahomes finds a player that like nobody's near, is able to throw it to a player, nobody's near him. Like the defender just loses track of their man. They're about 6-7 yards away from the first down, and there's just no stopping them. They're about 6-7 yards after the first down by the time somebody tackles them or pushes them out of bounds. And it's just kind of, it's like watching an episode of Tom and Jerry. And if Kansas City wins the Super Bowl again, I'm going to probably pretty much call it Tom and Jerry. It's just so predictable. 3rd and 15, Kansas City. And there's, Worthy, Xavier Worthy, for example. Or Schuster. Or that stupid idiot, Travis Kelce. Okay, he only had 2 catches for 19 yards. But, yeah. But how many times? How many freaking times has it turned out that way for Travis Kelce? How many times? Just not in this game. Hopefully not in the Super Bowl either. Hopefully the frick not. Hopefully he's like, you know what? I'm getting old. I'm going to step away. That'd be great. You know what? If you step away, Travis, That'd be great. And then maybe I can be happy again. I don't know. But Xavier Worthy, that's just an example. 8 yards down the field, 8 yards, whatever, on that 3rd and 15, 8-yard gain, catch, and 7 more. Yeah, oh no, excuse me, 10 more. First down, Kansas City. And that's kind of what it feels like, over and over again. Over and over. Kareem Hunt. Yep, Kareem Hunt led the team in rushing with 64. Mahomes, of course, again, yes. How many freaking times as well? So predictable. Episode of Tom and Jerry. Yep, here it is. 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, 3rd and whatever. 4th down, whatever the heck it was. Mahomes looking to pass, and then he just kind of wraps around, and nobody's near him, and he gets the first down again. Yep. I mean, there wasn't any super cheap. I mean, there was one where he got hit in the end zone, Mahomes, after he did that, another one of those where he wrapped around and went in the end zone. He was hit, and they called the penalty, so, of course, whatever. There wasn't anything super cheap with that one, like last time against, a couple of weeks ago with the Texans. But the short call, that just, of course, you just knew it wasn't going to go the Buffalo Bills' way when Josh Allen tried to get through. I mean, and Buffalo, the whole freaking game struggled on those short yardage plays, especially in the red zone. It was just unbelievably frustrating. James Cook was able to get in the end zone on one of those. I mean, on a 4th down, it was just absolutely huge. Wound up with 2 touchdowns in this game. 13 rushes, 85 yards, almost 7 yards a carry. Great job. Josh Allen in those short yardage plays so many times. Just couldn't get it. I think they got a couple. Obviously, they did convert a couple, but it felt like they couldn't convert jack bleep throughout the entire game in those short yardage plays, especially in the red zone. I mean, and here's the other thing. What did Buffalo lose by? 4. How many points did the Buffalo Bills leave on the field with failed 2-point conversions? 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. Buffalo would have won the game. Just with that. Just if everything else stayed the same, except Buffalo was able to get their 2-point conversions. Buffalo wins. That's all. Obviously, the game would have been different. Obviously, I got to think obviously the Chiefs would have had to go for it on that 3rd and 15, or what was it, 3rd and 20-ish, I do believe. When they went for the field goal, they would have had to go for it because they would have been down by, it wouldn't have been a tie game. They would have been down by 4. So who knows what would have happened there? Kansas City would have probably come up with some stupid miracle play. Josh Allen was in a 4th and long situation as well. And it just break your heart. I can't remember who it was now. I can't. I'm blanking on who the player was now because I'm just losing it. Obviously, the great play to Mac Hollins for a touchdown, that was great. He had 73 yards. Actually led the what do they call them? The Buffalo Bills in receiving. So that was obviously great. It's not Curtis Samuel. Why is my mind just drawing a blank? Kincaid. Yep. There's no mistaking those blue eyes. Almost. Yep. Number 86. Yep. Almost. But unfortunately, just couldn't get to it. Couldn't bring it home on that 4th down. Obviously, it was the ball kind of was sailing, and it was kind of losing momentum because Josh Allen was getting hit. Couldn't bring it in. Then, of course, just like how Buffalo couldn't get the key first downs in those short yardage plays. They just couldn't get them. Just couldn't do it. And then, what does Buffalo do in the situations where it's 3rd and 8 again, something like that, and Buffalo has to run, Kansas City has to run because they got to run the clock. They can't afford an incomplete pass and stop the clock. Buffalo misses the tackles they need to get, and that was it. I mean, they still had a chance to get the ball back. You're only down by 3, by the way. They had a chance to get the ball back, even if it was 50 seconds or something. That's eternity in football. But they couldn't make the stop. They just couldn't do it. The timeouts were all gone, and that was it. It's just blankety blank. Cursed. F-bombs all over the place. Middle fingers at the TV. Oh, yeah. True story. But believe it or not, the Buffalo Bills did have 2 sacks in the game. One of them obviously late that you thought, here we go. But it just wasn't meant to be. It was another one of those games where they have a chance. They're there. They're right there. And they just couldn't close the deal. They just couldn't close the deal. ABC, always be closing. Like in Glengarry Glen Ross, if you saw that old movie from 1992, 91, 92, Al Pacino, all those guys. Heck of a movie. Lots of swearing, unfortunately. But yes, it was a heck of a movie. They just couldn't close. They just couldn't close. Always be closing. And they couldn't close. And that's Buffalo, man. I like the Vikings. I mean, this feels like the Vikings and Saints game years ago. Maybe the Falcons. Probably more like the Saints because it's a road game and you're dealing with obnoxious fans. And every time you do anything, every time anything goes the other team's way and they're like up in your face and that's louder than blank. It's annoying as heck. And unfortunately, the Vikings did not provide that for the 98 or Viking fan base. Did not provide that for the Vikings in 98 when we needed them most. Not that it's the fans' fault one bit. It just didn't. You just didn't feel like the fan base was that. Was like, I don't know. Well, for one thing, we're just not as obnoxious here as Kansas City fans and Green Bay. But I don't know. I'm not saying do it if you happen to be a fan going to the games. Which I think it's annoying, but it's annoying and it makes you look like a dork. But I guess that's how they are. I guess so. I don't know. It's one of those games where you just want to say heck with it. I mean, if you're not a podcaster, if you're not like here wanting to do the podcast, wanting to cover the games, wanting to cover your home team as well, but also covering the postseason, just because you have this desire to do so. Just step away. You just step away because you're tired of seeing this Tom and Jerry cartoon. Like, okay, oh, he's going to get him this time. He's going to get him. Nope, it's a dog. It's a dog in the mouse hole. Oh, he bit his hand. Oh, he's going to get him this time. Nope. Another thing happened. It's just, I can't even remember some of the silliness of it. But all the obnoxious, stupid possible ways something could go wrong. And how the other team always comes ahead and is ha ha ha, it's laughing at you time and time again. That's pretty much what this is. It's a Tom and Jerry show, and that's kind of how I see the Chiefs versus the rest of the league right now. It's a Tom and Jerry show, not because I love it, because I absolutely hate it. That's why. Not enjoying it. Tom and Jerry is a good show for the most part, but it was ridiculously predictable. That's what made it not real fun anymore, and that's where you're like, okay, you know what? It's a classic show, classic characters, but the predictability of it is really dumb. And, the whole Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, like, oh, I'm going to trick the Roadrunner to make him run into this rock, I'm going to make him run into this wall, this wall of like a mountain, whatever, this mountain wall. Boom, just like that. I'm going to draw a tunnel, so he's going to crash into it. Haha. And then he runs through it. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. That's kind of like Patrick Mahomes getting these first downs, Runs through it. And then Wiley's like, okay, I guess I'm going to go after him. And then, bam, he does hit the wall. And that's kind of what it feels like with the Buffalo, with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and whoever else. Hopefully this time, but especially Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, it's been that way. And it's... You're rooting for Wile E. Coyote because you're sick of seeing him lose. You feel bad for him at the very least. And I'm not trying to just be sympathetic and make Josh Allen feel like he's nothing, but because he does deserve to win a Super Bowl, he absolutely does. And with the Chiefs, you just feel like they're just taunting everybody, and that's what's such a big turnoff going forward. With that said, we're hoping and praying. This will now preview the Super Bowl. Hoping and praying that somehow, some way, the Philadelphia Eagles can get the job done this time, which they couldn't do last time around. Unfortunately, how does this work? Oh, nope. It doesn't. Yeah, Chiefs beat Bills, had his 5th Super Bowl in 6. Yeah, shut up. I'm tired of it. We're happy for him, okay? It's not even letting me preview it. It's not even letting me click on it. It's just going straight to the teams. That's interesting. Okay, this might get it there. It's not working. Imagine that. It's not working. They don't even let you do a comparison. Oh, that's so stupid. Just let me click on it, please. Please let me click on it. Oh, Yahoo is so unreliable. So unreliable. So stupid. Okay, well, we're going to do something else, I guess, for now. Maybe it'll work later. I don't know why it's so freaking course, I already misspelled everything. History. Let's look at the history of this matchup over the years. Football database. Unfortunately, it's coming from the Chiefs side. I'm going to change that because I don't want to be the Chiefs. I just don't. Can't do it. We're going to be the Eagles. Dang it. And if you don't like me rooting for the Eagles, well, I don't know what to tell you. You know, Nick Sirianni, of course, is the head coach. Andy Reid is the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. And if you were living in a cave the last, like 20 years or so, Andy Reid was coach of the Eagles for a very long time. Went to tons of NFC title games. Went to the Super Bowl. Lost to Tom Brady 20 years ago already, if you can believe that. Man, that's a long time ago. Donovan McNabb was a hell of a quarterback, but he was kind of like the Josh Allen that couldn't close the deal, unfortunately. So that's what kind of the case was in Philadelphia, and that's where a lot of people, when the Chiefs won their first title with Andy Reid, you felt good for him. You felt good for Mahomes too. Like, okay, good. He's able to overcome the heartbreak a year ago when Brady took him out in the AFC title game. Notice Brady beat him again. Yeah, yeah, he did. Yeah, head-to-head matchups count for something, don't they? But, yeah, you felt happy for them. Okay, they got it now. Don't ever win again. Go away. Unfortunately, they're still winning. Yeah. So the all-time series is only 11 games. Both teams are pretty old. And the first time they ever played was 1972. Because I think the Chiefs were around in the 60s, weren't they? But, yes, they played each other the first time way back in 72. The Eagles won that one by a single point in Kansas City, which was not Arrowhead yet, but Arrowhead was around for a while. And then it kind of went back and forth for a while. The Chiefs won a couple in a row. The Eagles won 3 in a row. The Chiefs won 4 in a row in the 2000s, up to the Super Bowl. So then the Eagles finally beat them. So the last time the Eagles beat the Chiefs up until last season, when it was a Super Bowl rematch. So the Eagles beat the Chiefs 34-14 in 2009. I don't think that was McNabb anymore, was it? I think McNabb was already on the. Oh no, he might have still been there. Might have been his last year. Yeah, Eagles were 2-1. The Chiefs were 0-3. Oh, I missed that. Oh, Sean McCoy, cool name. He was good. Matt Castle was the quarterback of the Chiefs. Yep, all that money. He threw for a couple of touchdowns. Michael Vick, yeah, so McNabb was already on the Washington Redskins. Kevin Kolb was the quarterback. Weird. Kelvin Cobb, I guess they called him. Weird. Couple of touchdowns, 327 yards. I almost forgot about him. Larry Johnson was the Chiefs running back still. Yeah, he was awesome. I actually liked the Chiefs back then. Yeah, oh yeah. Not that much, but I liked him a little bit. Jeff Garcia, what's going on here? Anyhow, yeah, Jeff Garcia. Yeah, he was on the Eagles too. That's weird. Yeah, Michael Vick was like a backup or something at the time. I think he was kind of resurfacing in the NFL. That's what was happening. Yep, after leaving the Atlanta Falcons and being suspended for a year the year before. So that's the last time the Eagles beat the Chiefs until finally last season. Otherwise, the Chiefs had won 4 in a row, including Super Bowl, whatever year that was. Yep, that was the Super Bowl. Eagles are leading in points scored by 275 to 273. That's a pretty close matchup over the 11 years, or the 11 different games they played. But yes, the Chiefs, again, like I said, won in 2013, 2017, 2021, and 2023, which was the Super Bowl on February the 12th in 2023. So that was the 2022 season, of course, where the Chiefs 2 years ago had lost to the Buccaneers, and then got beat by Cincinnati in the AFC title game. Extremely satisfying, but unfortunately unsatisfying when the Rams beat the Bengals. But then that was a very close game. Chiefs and Eagles, both pretty good teams at the time, I think, weren't they? Maybe not. How good was Philadelphia? Oh yeah, Jalen Hurts was already playing. Well, what am I talking about? It's a Super Bowl. What am I, stupid? Yeah, it was an insanely close game. 21. Chiefs 42. Yeah, they were only 2-2 at the time, and the Eagles were 1-3. Interesting. Jalen Hurts must have been a rookie. Yeah, there he is. Great game. But then Mahomes threw 5 touchdowns. Crazy. Crazy stuff. Yep, Miles Sanders are still on the Eagles. But anyhow, and I do believe he's a former, what's he call it, Chief. But yes, otherwise the Eagles did defeat the Chiefs in a revenge game, which doesn't mean a damn thing, even other than it's good for your regular season. And the Eagles had a very disappointing year last year, if you remember correctly. They started strong and then just like stopped playing practically. It was like almost like they were on strike or something, and they were like it was like a mutiny against the coach almost. And then it looked like it was that kind of nonsense was continuing when the Eagles started off 2-2, and pretty much ever since then they pretty much haven't really lost much. I think they had a late season loss. Who did they lose to? Who did the Eagles lose to? Was it the Bears or something crazy like that? And then other than that, yeah, the Eagles were on a huge winning streak. And, they maintained their second seed because the Vikings couldn't beat the, well, first of all, it wasn't going to matter no matter what happened. Nobody was going to catch them because whoever did not win the division championship had to be stuck at the fifth seed or whatever. So, because no division title. So you're the number one non-division champion and you had to go on the road no matter what. Fairly entertaining game. What were the Eagles? Yes, the Eagles were 9-1. And then after that, it's like they stopped playing. It was really weird, or something down the line. It's like it was like really late in the year. The Eagles just started sucking, and then they lost right away. Like Jalen Hurts was like, it was like he was playing. It was like he was playing with like a catastrophic injury or something. It was really weird. Mahomes threw an interception. Hurts threw an interception. Pretty mediocre meh game, but the Eagles won. So hopefully the Eagles can start a win streak here, as it's a rematch here. Going forward, unfortunately, everybody, of course, was hoping for the opposite, like Washington and Buffalo, but that certainly did not happen. Now, what the heck? Is this thing already dead? Why is it not working now? It's frustrating. It stopped. Why is it not working? Oh, jeez. That figures. Okay, now it's working. And yeah, it's still not giving me the preview, which is so stupid. Why is it? What? The battery should be fine. This is brand new. Stupid. Sometimes you just cannot rely on technology. You just can't. Yep, yeah, it's fudge knuckered. Okay, so Kansas City. I'm going to just grab this other mouse here. I don't know what to do. Okay, it's working now. That's so weird. And now it's not working. And then it's working, and then it's not working. Something stuck on it? I don't know what the heck. Oh my god. Sorry. Gonna have to figure something out here quickly on the fly. Okay, I think I got it now. Sorry if I'm making a lot of weird noises here. I think I got it figured out. Yeah, the battery died, I guess. I don't know why. It wasn't even that long. So, my apologies here. I was able to switch from the other mouse. And I'm not seeing what I want to see here. So, not sure what to do. Okay, stats. That's the only way to do it. Chiefs are 15th in points scored, total yards 16th, passing yards 14th, rushing yards 22nd, time of possession 6th, points against, yeah, that's the defense, very stingy, 4th in the league, total yards against 9th, passing yards against 18th, rushing yards against 8th, sacks they're 18th, so they don't get a ton of those, and interceptions they're 12th. Mahomes with only 26 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. Kind of average numbers, actually, at the end of the day, which is kind of funny. But again, in the playoffs, it's like a completely different ball game. If you didn't notice, over the last, 50 years here, it seems like extremely frustrating. Let's look at the Philadelphia Eagles, if humanly possible. Whatever they are. Eagles. There, I didn't misspell it. Jalen Hurts, again, he felt pretty mediocre this year, too. But the Eagles scored points. They're 7th in the league because of Saquon Barkley. Hello. 7th in the league in points. Total yards, 8th. Passing yards, only 29th. See, Jalen Hurts. Rushing yards, 2nd. Yep. Time of possession, 3rd. Impressive. Points against, 2nd. Total yards against, 1st. Passing yards against, 1st. So this could be the perfect matchup for, possibly beating Mahomes. Possibly. But they're going to have to get it done because that's regular season stuff. Rushing yards against 8th, sacks 13th, and interceptions 12th. So kind of comparable there. Jalen Hurts only threw 5 interceptions all year. So that's pretty good. That's pretty damn good. He played in 15 games. Only 2,903 yards. That's not much. 18 touchdowns. Quarterback rating of 103. Saquon Barkley, 2,000 yards. 2,000 yards, yes. 13 touchdowns. Are you ready for something funny, though? Oh, yeah, he only fumbled the ball, or he only lost a fumble once, so that's actually really impressive. With 345 carries, knock on wood that he doesn't do that in the Super Bowl. Don't do it, Saquon. Concentrate on busting through that line, doggone it. Jalen Hurts, 630 yards rushing, but 14 touchdowns. He had more touchdowns than Saquon Barkley, despite some of those explosions, like that 72-yard long against the Los Angeles Rams. And the game that I was watching on Sunday Night Football, I was like, there goes Saquon Barkley. A.J. Brown led the team in receiving with 1,079 yards and 7 touchdowns. Devonta Smith with 8 touchdowns with 833 yards, respectively. Backtrack to the Chiefs a little bit. So, I mean, I do think the Eagles can win this game, and yes, I'm going to predict the Eagles to win. I almost should predict the Chiefs to win, then I can be wrong. Then if I'm wrong, it'll finally be, yeah. That way, if I'm wrong, like I always am lately, it'll be it'll be because of that. I'll jinx them. Travis Kelce, that stupid moron, led them in with 97 receptions, 823 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I'm starting to sound like a former president here. Yeah, that guy. Kareem Hunt led the team in rushing with 728. Isaiah Pacheco, I can't stand that guy. Ugh. Only 300. It's funny, only 310 yards, but he was hurt. Only 7 games. That guy is one arrogant little. Ugh. He is one cocky little son of a. He really is. Kansas City, they lost to Buffalo in the regular season, but once again, it doesn't mean diddly squat. I mean, it's great. It's great. What have they beat the Chiefs 4 times in a row in the regular season? And now the Chiefs have beat Buffalo 4 times in a row in the postseason. What's more important? The postseason. Absolutely more important. And Buffalo just seems to be that regular season team. Getting to the AFC title game is really good. It's good. But not winning it is annoying. Like, dang it. Why can't you just get the job done? Because they refuse. Sorry. It's extremely frustrating, to say the least. Yeah, I got too much junk popping up here, but sorry if this show is a little sloppy. It's not trying to be. Patrick Mahomes already said the numbers. Travis Kelce, yuck. DeAndre Hopkins. Xavier Worthy had some huge plays in the game. Only 638 yards on the season. It's weird. The team is totally different in the playoffs. In the regular season, they win games and it's annoying, but they just get the job done. That's all. And Worthy had some great numbers in the past with the Houston Texans, like 1,500 yards, 1,300 yards, 1,400 yards. Some amazing numbers with the Houston Texans. Wow. And Kansas City this year, only a couple, only 638. It feels like a heck of a lot less. But, that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes you're just better on a different team, but at the end of the day, who's been winning the close playoff games? Unfortunately, the wrong team, unless you're cheering for, So that's kind of how that goes. So with that said, I am going to pick the Eagles to win, yes. And I'm not trying to jinx them, okay? So I am going to say fly, Eagle, fly. I'd like to believe that Eagles defense can get the job done. They looked amazing against the Washington Commanders. Saquon Barkley looks unstoppable. And I think hopefully that can be the difference. Rushing yards against, what is Kansas City averaged? They're 8th in the league, 101 yards against basically 102. So that's the hope that they can attack. And yes, they do give up a decent amount of passing yards, but again, they were ahead. That's just like the Vikings earlier as well. I always talked about that. The Chiefs were always ahead. They won 15 games this year, so they were always ahead. So of course they're going to give up more passing yards than rushing yards. So there is that. Short yardage situations with that Chiefs in the red zone is really tough. So Saquon Barkley is going to have to really earn it. But I got a feeling Saquon Barkley is going to be your Super Bowl MVP with 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts will also rush one in at least, if not 2. Maybe throw one as well. I got a feeling that the Eagles are going to get the job done. It's not just me being, it's not just talking from my heart, but possibly from but I think it is from my head as well. It's going to be close. It's going to be similar. In fact, I'm going to go with a 32-29 Eagles victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. 32-29. The Eagles beat the Chiefs and end the dynasty in terms of, preventing them from being three-peat. The fear is obviously the Chiefs could come back next year and win again. I hope that frick not, but it would be nice if this was it. Like, okay, you almost had that three-peat, but you're being denied right here and right now. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Is that that's all it is. This was your last Super Bowl, and wouldn't that be great? Or if he does win, or if Mahomes wins again, it'll be several years from now with no Travis Kelce, different group of players, hopefully with a little more humility surrounding the franchise versus versus what we're seeing right now. I mean, there isn't a drop of humility on the Kansas City Chiefs, and I think it's time they toppled. I think it's time they did. It'd be great. Like the Patriots, they might have felt a little bit happy with themselves after beating the Eagles for their third Super Bowl in like a 5 year or a 4 year period, which was incredible. They didn't look too cocky though. They were pretty good for the most part. They weren't as cocky as the Chiefs team. So, and I gotta say they were a heck of a lot more humble when they beat that Seahawks team. They were when they beat the Seahawks by that slight margin. The Seahawks were doing a lot of talking. They'd won one Super Bowl and they acted like they'd won 10. Richard Sherman with his big nose. So that's kind of how that went. So that's kind of how that goes. But I do believe the Eagles will win a close one. I think the defense will be just enough, and I think Saquon Barkley is going to be your Super Bowl MVP and possibly regular season MVP. And if he gets it, I got no complaints whatsoever. Big fan of Saquon Barkley. More reason to say fly, Eagle, fly. And yes, I'm an Eagles fan again for 2 weeks. For just 2 weeks, though, don't worry. 2 weeks, yes, I'm going to have that. I mean, I've had the soft spot for the last couple of years ever since, but that doesn't mean I'm an Eagles fan. It means it's a temporary thing because I want the Chiefs to lose. And I have no ill will to the Philadelphia Eagles players. The fans are jackasses, but the Chiefs fans are jackasses too, so it's offset because the players are jackasses in Kansas City and the Eagles. I don't think the players are jackasses. I think the Chiefs players are. So for me, it favors the Eagles, and the Eagles are what I'd rather see win. But I also do believe this Eagles team can win. It's not just from the heart, though. I'm sure everybody listening is like, yeah, right. And it's okay. You can believe that. I do think this Eagles team can win the Super Bowl. I love the way they played the last several weeks. And Saquon Barkley, I'm incredibly impressed. And it is time this Chiefs team did topple. It is. I mean, they even though they've won all these games this year, they've been kind of semi-mediocre and most of the way. Like even today, they played probably their best game all year today. Did you realize that? Probably. And it wasn't that pretty. So I think the Chiefs are beatable. A couple of weeks ago, I would have told you the Eagles were beatable. Very much so. They were mediocre against Green Bay. But they've gotten better as the postseason has continued. They've gotten better. They got better against the Rams. Because it looked like the Eagles could actually lose to the Rams the way they played against the Packers. They was like, what are you guys doing out there? You look so mediocre. You couldn't beat anybody. Now it looks like the Eagles would crush most teams out there, and they could probably beat the Chiefs too. So, and I got to also think the Eagles are hungrier for a championship because they came so close a couple years ago. They lost by a one-possession game. So hopefully the Eagles end this Chiefs dynasty or this Chiefs run. Maybe not the dynasty, but the run. At least slow down the dynasty at the very least, if not completely end it. And a 3-point win for the Philadelphia Eagles. As for fan interaction, as we're looking to wrap things up here, I don't think there really is any, unfortunately. Maybe just a like or two and the shares and all that. I kind of, Mr. Absolute liked when I said same old bleep with the two middle fingers extended. Bullshit call, the close one where Josh Allen was trying to get through. And they spotted it they spotted it short. It was complete crap. Josh Allen had the first down there. It was a game changer. ML Football said Josh Allen got the first down here. Instead, the refs ruled him short and gave the Chiefs the ball. A complete game changer, and people were pretty frustrated. Rhino Vikings Uncensored responds with bullshit call. Yes, I'm with you 1,000%. It was a bullshit call, and the Chiefs have been getting a lot of calls in their favor, no doubt about it. Want to thank Mad Martin out of Northern Scotland, Vince Germano out of Australia, and Today Brown out of New Zealand for retweeting the most recent episode, Divisional Review Conference Preview. This is now the Conference Review and the Super Bowl Preview going forward. So with that, I want to thank you guys so much for listening. God bless you. Keep retweeting those of you that have done it, or repost, I guess you could say. Really appreciate you, and hope everything's going fine. Looking forward to J.J. McCarthy. I mean, if the Chiefs keep winning and they're still a threat, I'd love to see J.J. McCarthy be the one to put an end to the Chiefs dynasty. That would be more satisfying than anything. It'd be absolutely wonderful to see the Eagles win in 2 weeks. Absolutely wonderful. But if it's the Vikings doing it one way or another in a year or 2 or 3, the satisfaction would be off the charts. It'd be the most satisfying thing in the world as a sports fan in Minnesota. With that said, thank you again, and we will talk to you in 2 weeks. There will be no show next week. I'm sure you knew that. That's tradition, taking the week off because it's just Pro Bowl games. And, it's basically a bye week for the NFL except for the Pro Bowl games. And we will talk, unless there's some huge news, but obviously there will probably be some Viking news of some sort. But other than that, thank you. And yes, Brian Flores is still the defensive coordinator, at least as of right now. With that said, we will talk to you in 2 weeks. Take care and fly, Eagle, fly.